Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Paperweight Entertainment Podcast, your home for all things Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and so much more. Join Derek and Ian as they tell tales to astonish along this journey into mystery. Grab some snacks and settle in because Paperweight Entertainment starts now. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Paperweight Entertainment Podcast. I am your co-host, Derek Hoskins. Tonight, we have another comic book episode. I hope that you are ready to go, because with me, as always, is my good friend and yours, Mr. Ian Torrance. Ian, you are the glue. I am too tired and I don't feel well to give you more nicknames than that. Tell me you're going to carry us through since I don't feel great.
Derek, I have a funny story.
Tell me all about it, buddy.
I don't feel well today.
Yeah, Ian and I are both
I'm not
sick.
feeling too hot.
Ian and I are both sick, so this will probably be a bit of a shorter episode, but we didn't want to deprive you of hearing your favorite second, third, fifth, 10th, 20th favorite, podcast talk about a book that is multiple years old. But either way, it's going to be fun, and I'm excited to talk about it. So don't let my demeanor fool you or the strange tone of our voices. We actually are excited to talk about this book. And the book that we're talking about is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin. We both have finally finished this book. It's been a long time coming. And I wanted to talk about it. And Ian said he did too. So we're going to get into it. So Ian, did you actually finish the comic? Did you finish your homework, sir?
Actually, yes, I did.
I was going to say, I was like, man, you had like one issue left.
I know I've had that one issue left for a while now, but yeah, no, I finally finished it, and I'm all caught up, and it's a good thing too, just in time.
Yeah, perfect timing. So, as we record this, and when this episode is coming out, without meaning to, we've done it again. When we did our review of the first volume of Radiant Black, it turned out that it was just the 3-year anniversary of Radiant Black, so it was an anniversary month. With The Last Ronin, the first issue of Last Ronin 2, I don't remember the name of it. Give me a minute. The next issue of Last Ronin 2 is coming out on Wednesday. It's Re-Evolution. That's it. So this will be a nice little prelude to the next part of this story. So yeah, for anyone who does not know about The Last Ronin, Ian, do you want to give a quick little breakdown of what this book is about for those that are not caught up?
Those that are not caught up, God, I don't know if I want to give away the plot.
Just a basic premise of it.
Well, for those of you wanting to read this but not knowing what it's about, without giving too many spoilers away, which is weird because are we going to get into spoilers?
We'll get into spoilers. We'll definitely get into spoilers. But if there's somebody here that hasn't read it yet, we'll give you a little spoiler warning here in just a minute. We can talk spoiler free. Again, we are very under the weather. Please go.
Derek, I don't really feel like it tonight. Why don't you carry us? Because I'm not feeling like talking because my chest hurts. Ian, you want to give a synopsis on what's... So The Last Ronin is a story set in the future in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe. It is a part of the universe that is known very well to those who like the Turtles comics, the IDW run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not caught up on that. I'm very behind on that.
I am too.
It is a fantastic run.
Mm-hmm.
I strongly encourage anybody who hasn't read the IDW run of Turtles to go read that immediately. It's fantastic. So with that being said, this one takes place in the future. It's set in New York City still, I believe, and there has been a rising of Foot Clan soldiers under the well, the leader is basically the grandson of Shredder.
Yeah, he's Shredder's grandson. So for those that know the characters a little better, he's Karai's son.
Karai's son.
Yeah.
Son of
Karai.
And
Karai is the daughter of Shredder.
Whose real name is Orokosaki.
Orokosaki. And I'm trying to remember. I'm really bad. I was going to do so much more research for this because I remember thinking that the antagonist of this book, his name was so hard to say because
Yeah.
the consonants kind of are hard to get there. Um,
Excuse me.
but uh, but yeah. So Shredder's grandson, Orokosaki's grandson.
Yes. Now, there is but one left of the Turtle Clan, the last Ronin, if you will, who is trying to lead an uprising to take down not only the grandson of Shredder, but apparently Baxter Stockman, who's still alive, and
Yeah.
um,
Weirdly, Baxter has survived all this time.
he's badly burned. I couldn't help but think that the whole time. You shot me. You shot me in the eye. Yeah. So anyway, that's what this story follows is one of these turtles trying to take down the son of the Shredder, who is not only leading the Foot Clan and working with Baxter Stockman. Baxter Stockman's basically working for him, but he is taken over like basically the entire city.
Yeah,
It's
like the
like
island
I
of
said,
Manhattan.
it's very futuristic and it is definitely an island.
Hmm.
He has made sure that that basically there's nobody in, nobody out. And yeah, you don't know when you start reading this comic who the last Ronin is,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of people are shocked on the reveal of the last Ronin.
I think so too. So we'll go ahead with that out of the way, just so you guys know what it is. If you've never read The Last Ronin, I really do recommend that you go and check it out. We'll have an affiliate link for it in the description of this for the graphic novel. The entire collection of it is very cheap. Also, if you have Kindle Unlimited, it is available on that. So I definitely go and check it out because we're going to talk about the rest of it. So from here on out, we're going to talk full spoilers. Again, maybe silly to give a spoiler warning for a book that's been out for so long, but it's you don't want to miss out on the read of this. Um, so yeah, I think a lot of people expected because of the look of the Last Ronin, a lot of people expected this to be Raphael because he's much bigger, he's much hulkier. Who did you think? Like, did you know who it was before you went into it? Because I know both of us read it a while after it had already come out. Did you know who the Last Ronin was?
I want to say somebody did spoil it for me because they're jerks,
Yeah, jerks. It
but
wasn't me.
I think so. No, it wasn't you. I think it was Trent.
Yeah, but it
It
was
might
Trent.
not. It might not
We
have been
haven't
Trent.
we haven't
That's
talked
who we're gonna
trash about
blame.
Trent in a while. We got to at least
Fuck.
bring up Trent on a Ninja Turtle episode. He's gonna be so
Yeah.
mad that we talked about a Ninja Turtle book and didn't invite him to come and talk about it. He wouldn't have showed up,
He
but
wouldn't have
we
showed
would
up.
could have at least invited him. Yeah. Personally, for me, before I read it, I just figured it was Raphael. He's kind of the fan favorite. Plus, he's the one that's the most aggressive. He's the one that people really enjoy seeing beating people up and having vendettas. So the
Very
decision to
broody.
make it, yeah, the decision to make it Michelangelo to be the one to survive and have to carry on this vendetta, I think was a really bold choice. I think it was a good choice because the story is so much richer because it's the character that everybody associates with fun and enjoying and youthful. You know, he's the youngest of the turtles. So the fact that it was Michelangelo, I think, was great. Not only the fact that I think it was right storyline. Mikey's my favorite, and he always has been. So I was really happy about it. But were you surprised it was Michelangelo?
Yeah, very much so. I figured it was going to be rap as well,
Hmm.
which I think that's what they wanted us to think. Because, like I
I think
said,
so too.
the hood and the
Hmm.
brooding and plus, like I think on like one of the not covers, but like one of the pictures I saw from one of the panels was the Psy, and it's
Hmm.
like kind of like hidden under
Right.
the jacket like thing, and I thought that's where they were going with
Hmm.
that.
Which, by the way, speaking of that, the design of having Michelangelo not only just looking different because his mutation has gone farther, but the design of having him not recognizable in any way while also carrying the broken weapons of his brothers was such a great choice and so sad. Like
Very
that's
sad.
another thing. This book is depressing. Like
Yeah, it is.
there are not a lot of bright spots in this book. It is depressing.
Agreed.
But it's with that being said, it is excellent though. Like I don't want to bury the lead. This is a great book. This is probably my favorite Turtles book. Um, just because of how in depth it goes and showing all of the way that it lays out the story of you're thrown right in with him like launching this assault against the Foot Clan, and then as it goes forward you find out what happened. I like that it tells it in flashbacks. I like that it goes through what he had to do when he went to Japan, and I think that that was a really really smart storytelling technique. um so on top of the surprise that it was Michelangelo, on top of the surprise or the way that he looks, did you like the way that they did the story in this with the jumping around and the flashbacks instead of making it a more linear story?
I not only liked that, I loved it. No, I not only liked that, I liked the way that the ghost of his brothers followed him around and
Hmm.
he had conversations with them like indirectly, like he
Hmm.
would still be like doing what he was doing going forward, planning a bomb or trying to infiltrate something, and he would just be having this frivolous conversation with these ghosts of his brothers, and again plays into what you were saying. And I'm so sorry for my voice tonight. I'm sorry for my voice every night, but I'm especially sorry tonight. It was so sad to have him carry on the
Hmm.
conversation, and he is not at all the fun-loving, easygoing party teenager that he
Hmm.
was, that everybody has, come to know and love
Right.
him to be. So, and understandably so, like,
Yeah.
his whole family is gone.
Hmm.
And as
Yeah.
far as he knows, everybody he's ever loved is gone. There's no Casey, there's no April, everybody's gone. And
Yeah.
he's
Splinter's gone.
alone.
Everyone.
He is the last Ronin.
Yeah. The
See what
reveal
I
that
did there?
April, I did. The reveal that April was still alive was great. I was so glad that she was still around. Um,
Missing some appendages.
missing a couple. Yeah. And her, I'll tell you what, as much as I thought that Mikey's story was sad and seeing him talk to his talk to his brothers and everything and seeing everything that happened to them, man, April's story was heartbreaking. Waking up in the hospital, missing an arm, missing a leg, finding out that you're pregnant right after your husband was killed and you lost everything. Her story was very sad. But the story overall, even though it was sad and even though it was depressing, it was so intriguing and interesting, and I could not put this book down. It was so good. It was so good.
That's no
It's
good.
so good. Um, and of course, we can't talk about it without talking about the original creators being on this and the artwork being incredible. Especially like I was talking about in those flashbacks with them being black and white and more in the vein of the original comics. I think that that was a great choice. It was a really smart choice. Did that bother you at all? I know some people don't like the switching of art styles in the middle of a book. Did it bother you at all when it was switching up the art?
Mm. I feel like you're talking about the big ones, like switching back to the flashback versions, where it's
Right.
kind of like not black and white, but it was what is that, more water-based colors?
Yeah, yeah, and it was
I don't know the style. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
no, you're fine. It wasn't really black and white, but it gave you that feeling of
Hmm.
like a black and white, like a pencil sketch type of a
Like the
drawing.
original Turtles,
Yes, very
kind of.
much like the original Turtles were.
No, that didn't bother me. I am bothered when I come across that in the middle of a comic. I don't understand it. Never
Hmm.
have. Never will. Even if it was explained to me, I'll never agree with the concept. There's nothing you could say that's going to justify that to me. And I've noticed that when I'm reading like Batman comics,
Hmm.
um, I'm like, how is it that the same artist and the same shader, penciler,
Hmm.
everybody involved is the same,
Hmm.
yet in the middle of an issue, it changes, or the next issue the characters are drawn different.
Hmm.
I'm like, why? Let me ask you a question.
Wow.
Why? So yes, it does bother me, but that's a small pet peeve that I just need to get over.
Yeah. But it didn't bother you much in this.
No, it did like the normal annoyance of like, why would you? But at the same time, it really wasn't a big deal. For this, it kind of made sense to me though, because like I
Right.
said, it was like it was trying to differentiate between timelines.
Right. Yeah, I think it was a really
I'm
smart
so
play.
sorry.
That's all right. I think
What
it
is
was a
it?
smart play.
16 years in between?
I'm trying to
16
remember
years later?
16 or 19 because how old is Casey?
I thought she was 16.
I think you're right. I think it is 16. So probably actually closer to 17 years, to allow for gestation.
Well, now wait a minute. Figure looks very elongated.
Look like
Again,
sausage.
we're doing spoilers. It did kind of look sausage like. Derek, would you like some sausage? Anyway, you got to remember she's also part mutated.
That's true. She is. That is true. But I do think that they said 16
I think so.
because Mikey was trying to do the whole, oh, you're too young to be doing this, blah, 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 when he was a literal teenager when he was trained as a like a master fighter.
And the only justification to that I say is he was trained since birth
Right.
by an actual martial artist.
Right. And I don't blame Mikey for not wanting to train her because it is a different situation.
Yeah.
When they were training and they were fighting the foot, this is the foot that was they were ninja, they were martial artists. Yeah, they had weapons. Yeah, there was mutated creatures they were fighting against. But this is advanced technology, a brutal villain. And um and also on top of it, someone who has already killed everyone that Mikey cares about, and he doesn't want to see that again. So I absolutely understand where he was coming from with not wanting to train her, and I don't blame him at all. But I like that they didn't lean too heavily into that trope, and I also like that April wasn't. They didn't do the stereotypical, oh, I don't want you in this fight. I don't want you training for this. I don't want you doing any of it. They didn't lean into that really. They let, she could. April was smart enough to know that her daughter needed to be trained because the fight's already here. She needs to learn how to fight. So I think that was smart. I really do. Overall, because I want to talk about a couple other things. I know that we don't have a lot to say other than good things about this. And like I said, we're both not feeling great, so this is going to be a shorter episode. Um, Overall, I think that what this comic did was reinvigorate an excitement for Ninja Turtles that has always been there because turtles have been popular for a reason for as long as they have been. But I think it reinvigorated the franchise by getting people who have loved Ninja Turtles for a long time and getting people that have never read comics, like never read a Ninja Turtle comics and only knew them from the movies or the TV show,
Hmm.
to actually get into the comics because this is like I'll talk about our friend Sean, formerly from the Caption Life. Um, when we went up to C2E2 last year, he met Kevin Eastman. He was there and he got him to sign his copy of The Last Ronin. And he was talking
Oh,
about how that was the first Ninja Turtle comic he'd ever read. And Kevin Eastman said, I hear, I can't remember his exact words, but he said, I hear that a lot. There are a lot of people that say this was the first Turtles comic that I ever read. And I think that it did so much for that franchise that I'm so glad that they're going to keep going with it because the Ninja Turtles as a comic book is phenomenal. I don't know that I've ever read a Ninja Turtles book that I didn't enjoy. There are some that are better than others. Even I don't know if you've read any of them, but they've got this Saturday morning cartoon series where it is all in the tone and the dialogue and the art style. Everything is like the 80s cartoon.
I've noticed. I haven't watched it, but I've seen clips.
And so they've got this comic book that is the Saturday morning cartoon. And it's so much fun. And I really credit The Last Ronin with giving people an excuse to jump onto these comic books. And I think that's great. I'm always for a long running franchise hooking new people in. So that's one of the reasons why I really love this comic.
Yep. I'm just kidding. That was a delightful story, Derek. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Now's the time for me to shut up so you can talk.
It's time for you to shut your mouth. No, I don't really have much to say other than what I said earlier. I started reading the IDW comics. I really like them.
Mhm.
When I worked at the theater, like I had them on a iPad. That was me. That's my iPad. It was much bigger than that. Yeah, and I would read them all the time, and then somebody stole my iPad, and I couldn't read them anymore.
That's lame.
So yeah, yeah.
That really
So
sucks.
yeah, I do want to get back into reading those because I
Hmm.
want to read part two of this, but
Hmm.
also the fantastic news that we probably talked about before, but this is getting a video game adaptation.
Yes, that was another thing I
Really
wanted to bring
excited
up.
about that.
The small little teaser that they did got me so excited for this game. I wish that they would get some kind of movement going on it because other than that little teaser, I haven't seen or heard anything on the development of the game. Um, and I don't even remember who was doing it. Is it WB Montreal or something like that?
It might be.
I can't remember who. I don't even remember who owns the rights. Well, no, Paramount owns the rights to Ninja Turtles, but I don't know who would do the video games. Either way, it doesn't matter. They that game announcement was so awesome. So awesome. That is one that I will definitely be playing. I know that Ian plays a lot more video games than I do, and I know that I start games and stop them because I don't have the time. I plan on playing through that one as soon as it comes out.
Well, sadly, it is Black Forest Games, and I just read, and I can't believe I
Oh,
didn't read this before, but roughly 50% of the studio has been laid off.
well, that's a bummer. Hopefully it keeps going. Hopefully they're going to be all right to keep going with it, or somebody comes in and picks it up because this is clearly a franchise that is popular. Ninja Turtle games are always a lot of fun. Shredder's Revenge, I will play over and over and over again. I will never get tired of that game. Um, but on top of just the Last Ronin being one of the better selling Ninja Turtle comics, the Lost Years that came out, I believe last year, which I still need to read, and then now with the Last Ronin 2, which takes place 10 years later, by the way. Um, so that's gonna be fun to watch or fun to read. Uh, but because of the popularity of this series and because of the popularity of the story overall, I'm hopeful that game will actually come to pass and that we won't just have it lost in development hell somewhere.
Same.
Same. All right. I apologize if this was your first episode of listening or watching our podcast. I know that this was a little bit of a strange one, and both of us are kind of out of sorts. If it is your first time, please come on back and give us another shot. We'll do better next week when we're a
Well,
little
yeah,
more
honestly.
healed up and a little more present. Um, but I'll say again for anybody that wants to read The Last Ronin, if you haven't yet, there'll be a link to our Amazon link in the description. Go and check it out. If you do that, you can pick it up and help out the podcast a little bit. Um, if this is your first time watching, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all of the things you're supposed to do. If you're listening on the podcast, on the audio form only, don't forget to rate and review us. That really, really helps. If you want more of me rambling and more of my writings and reviews, check me out over on Nerd Initiative. And if you want to support the show in any way, check out our website. That'll get you links to all of our social medias and our merch store. And I think that I'm gonna go and take a nap.
I don't blame you.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. So
Save a spot in that bed for me, sir.
I will, buddy. So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for watching. For Ian, I have been Derek. This has been the Paperweight Entertainment Podcast, and we will see you next time.